the 5 things to work on. Because in order to beat Ohio State, you first have to beat Northwestern, and then you have to go and beat Maryland, and then you've got the Ohio State game. And Michigan does have to run the table to guarantee that we're in the playoffs and potentially Big Ten championship conversation. You got to run the table. 9-3 is in that bubble space, right?
Yeah.
So with that said, we've got a couple of things that we've come up with as far as things that we work on. And obviously number one is Bryce Underwood. He had his weakest game, and it was at home. And there were just a lot of issues with kind of touch accuracy. And I actually asked Denard Robinson, like, what in your opinion, because, you know, they have that show on The Insider, and I like, Denard, what in your opinion, what does Bryce need to do? Like, what is it? Is it a drill? Is it a just, and he was just like, he's just got to ease up on the, he's just got to let it go a little easier on those shorter passes. Like, he's like, don't even, like, all he's just got to work. And he seemed like something that it could be worked on and it could be improved. So that gives me that brief little back and forth with Denard gave me a little bit of hope that by Ohio State, that Bryce can put it together in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Bryce Underwood needs to play sharper, needs to find his touch a little bit, especially on, I would say, obviously the shorter throws, but the third level throws, right? He's got to find that touch. He's got to find his accuracy. It's so hard to ask a young quarterback to find that in season. Typically is an off season thing. Doesn't mean you can't get better in season. That happens all the time too. But oftentimes when you see the struggles he's having at the third level, that's typically an off season progression. But we know Bryce Underwood can be very good. We've seen him in games this year play very, very good. He's got to find that. And I think for me, John, and I've already mentioned this, he must lock in. Forget the noise. We're good, bro. No more noise. Like the cameras, the pictures, this. No, we lock in now.
You haven't seen a freshman like me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's done. Like, let's just lock in, get better every day. Today better than yesterday. Tomorrow better than today. Like that type of shit. He's got to lock in right now. And I feel if he does, like, I need some JJ McCarthy lock in type shit right now. Like that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need that.
Maybe try a little meditation. Worked for JJ.
Little visualization. I listen, all in on Bryce. I'm not out. I don't have any. I'm not even. I like, if you on a scale 1 to 10 concern level, 10 being the highest, 1 I'm at a 1. I'm not concerned. I know he needs to just lock in. He's a good player. But his youth is showing. That's just what it is. And that's what a lot of people, myself this offseason, was slightly concerned about. I didn't anticipate he'd have a game like he did against Purdue, though.
No.
That was not in my cards. But it is what it is. Just lock in, brother.
Well, look, even JJ had bad games even in the last year. Obviously, there was that Bowling Green game. So he was not a freshman, right? Like, we do need, and I know that it sounds like an excuse, right? Like, he's a true freshman, he's 18, but he is a true freshman. He is 18. Right. And he's allowed, in my opinion, as long as you win the game somehow, he's allowed a bad game. And it was an objectively bad game. But the thing that what's good is now you've seen the bottom, right? And now it's like, it's all uphill from here, I feel like, because now it's about, okay, what do we need to do? Short passes, right? We need to hit those slants, need to hit those curls. We need to just kind of build up that confidence in Bryce so that he can lob it downfield by the time Ohio State hits.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that, to be honest, that game is going to be a legacy defining game.
Yep.
How he performs in that game will be now. I guess. All right. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm wrong. It's not legacy defining, but it is legacy building.
Yeah,
That
legacy
game will
building for sure.
it'll be a legacy. Yeah, because he has 2 more years. It's not defining, but it is legacy building, and that game is going to be critical for him. But we are not the players. We are allowed to look ahead. They got to focus on the bye week, and then after that, we have Northwestern at Wrigley Field. So just that's where the mindset needs to be: one game at a time, and just lock in.
Yeah, and I do think that I don't know how Chip Lindsey divides his time, and I actually defended that he's in the box. He to have that full view of the. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. But like, I think that there needs to be an emphasis on time with Bryce, right? Like Chip Lindsey has balanced both roles before. And I think that in this case, clearly after Purdue, it's all about how can we now build back Bryce's confidence, and also set him up. And we'll talk about this later, but set him up with weapons and everything he needs. And it kind of goes right into the O-line, right? So the O-line, and we've talked about this, the O-line run protection, in my opinion, it's one of the best in the country. I think that the way that they hold up for now it's Jordan Marshall. You don't have 180 plus yards on the ground without a strong O-line creating some of the holes. Jordan Marshall's such a good athlete. He can just barrel through a lot of stuff. And we saw that. It was almost like video game, that one where he barreled through to the end zone. And so, like, he can do that, but the O-line's got to be there. So from a run perspective, I don't have any issues. From a pass pro perspective, Bryce doesn't always have that long. And it's another thing that Denard and others have pointed out. Like, he doesn't have that long to make his decisions.
Yeah, I think it was last game, 50% of his passing attempts were pressure. He had pressure. It's Purdue.
Yeah,
not good.
Not good enough.
Yeah, you got to give the kid more time, especially a true freshman. So, and if that stats, I think that stats accurate. But if that stats off, let me know. But yeah, I mean, to just protect Bryce and make sure he's got the time he needs, and then Bryce has to execute, because let's just face it, he missed some throws he should have had. But to your point, John, O-line. Listen, I will say this about the O-line though. I think we have the best 5 though. I think with Frazier at left tackle, El-Hadi at left guard, Crippen at center, right guard is Granera, and then right tackle Sprague. That's your best 5. I think that's the best 5 at any point this season, by the way. So now that you have your best 5, we have a bye week too. So hopefully some cohesion, some chemistry building. They get on the same page. This is our second bye week. We better, I'm gonna tell you, we better look good playing Northwestern. Like, we better look sharp. We're at what week? It'll be week. What week will it be once we play Northwestern? It'll be week I'll find
10
out.
or 11.
It'll be week 12.
Week 12, folks.
That shit better be tight. Pause.
Yeah.
They better fucking it better be more polished. I'll tell you, because like, we are so far in the season, it needs to be a lot cleaner. It needs to be a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. Blake Frazier though did have. I mean, Blake Frazier. I've said nothing but positive things about Blake Frazier. I do think that some of the interior, especially El-Hadi, Crippen, they've been struggling a little bit. Garnera's been, for the most part, pretty good. He's had a couple of off moments, but for the most part, he's been pretty solid. And Sprague has been pretty solid, with the exception of that one game.
Yeah,
he's been pretty solid.
As sad and as crazy as it is, El-Hadi's been a weak link. Wild. Because I think many of us would have thought that's our best offensive lineman coming into the season. Wild.
So Bryce working on his passes. We got O-line pass pro. And then, we've been talking about this, the receiver answers. Who are the answers at receiver aside from Andrew Marsh? And the reason why this is so important, TJ, is that Michigan currently has the 105th ranked passing offense in the nation right now. So it is improved, because it used to be 129th. So we've gone up from 129th to 105th, but that's still not quite good enough, right? And so how do you get at least up into the 50s, 60s, or at least higher to give defenses something to think about? Because they're just going to stack the box, right? If you don't have real answers at running back, and I think, or at wide receiver, and I think, aside from Andrew Marsh, there's still an open question of who those are going to be. McCauley may be out. So it's really a question of, I was one positive about Saturday. I was so happy, and I said this, I was so happy that they were trying out Browder. They were trying out Channing Goodwin. They were trying to, I even saw Kendrick Bell in there at one point. Like, they were trying to find some answers. The issue is that Bryce was so off. But, like, who are the three? Like, who are the three that they're going to run with? I feel like that's a key thing they need to kind of find out over the next 2 weeks. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, one, I just confirmed you're right. This passing offense is 107, man. That's so disappointing. And there are teams who have played one less game ranked ahead of us, Damn, that's so disappointing. It's just got to be better. It's got to be more effective. It's just, the truth is our running backs has carried this offense for the most part. Now, granted, Bryce has had better games than what we experienced last year. But the wide receivers, all right, let me just, I don't know if we have the answer on the team. I got just, if we did, they'd be stepping up. There's a reason why they're leaning on Samaj. It's just what it is. Like, it sucks. It sucks. Like, McCauley, unfortunately, can't get separation. Good receiver, athletic, has good hands, can't get separation. Okay. Marsh is our best receiver as a true freshman, which is telling. And then Samaj Morgan is a lottery ticket. And what I mean by that is he may catch it. You got a chance, he may catch that ball, but it's disappointing, man. And the tight ends aren't, let's just call what it is. Nobody except Zach Marshall Zach Marshall. He's might
been
be
lighting it up. 89 Proof Football Focus.
Yeah. Nobody is grabbing that job, but Zach Marshall might. He might. I saw some flyer in him last game. I saw more, but it's, so it's just what it is. We don't have the horses in the stable is the problem, which, mind you, and let's make this very known now, even though I think we are all in agreement, they better fucking add some horses to the stable in the offseason. That's priority.
Portal, number one.
So that's something we will be watching extremely closely.
Yeah. And I think, and again, there's some questions about why are you guys giving criticism and all this kind of stuff in the chat right now. It's like this NBA fan guy. And I've actually never seen him before.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, folks, we're trying. Yeah, I get it. It's a young team with a young head coach, but at the end of the day, it's Michigan, number one. And there should be a standard. I think we've talked about this on multiple shows now and videos, that there should be a standard of 10 wins. There should be a standard of you're at least in the playoff. If Penn State was able to do it last year, fraudulent Penn State, and they were able to win 2 playoff games, albeit against kind of cupcakes, but Boise State had a really good running back, so there's that. Well, but the point is, my point is, there's no reason why Michigan should be anything less than 10-2 every year. If Ohio State can be 11-1 or undefeated every year. Yeah, so we can get to that point.
Right. And let me just say, what is, just so you know, I have no issue with someone who NBA fan, this opinion you have, you're allowed to have this opinion.
Sure.
Let me just challenge the position. What is wrong with holding your team to a high standard. And your rebuttal will be, well, it's a young team. It's a coach learning on the job, and they are at least 7-2 right now with everything in front of them. This is true. But there is nothing wrong with identifying the last 2 games specifically, seeing a team this late in the season making mistakes that you would see in week 1, week 2, and not being corrected. We are seeing issues with this team that are red flags that we as fans, many of us who are educated fans, longtime viewers of this team, are aware that these are the things that can bite you. These are the things that can trip you up. We don't want to lose to Ohio State. We don't want to not make the playoffs. And to John's point, because I saw this argument on Twitter yesterday. We're spoiled because we won a title 2 years ago. That is an insane fucking take, in my opinion. What did Ohio State do last year?
Won the title.
Who's potentially the number 1 team in the nation, John?
Ohio State.
They lost a lot in the draft, though, John, and they lost coaches.
Yeah, they lost so much, and
fucking crazy.
Coaches went to the NFL.
So the reality is, a lot of our fan base is coping their ass off because the reason is, and it's a subconscious defense mechanism. They don't want to hurt, so they are building excuses. Youth, young coach, ... No, a well-functioning program maintains a standard of excellence. We are hoping to have this program at that level. Let me tell you someone that I know for a fact wants that standard. Your donors, because they're not pouring millions of dollars into this program, tens of millions of dollars into this program to not be a playoff contender, to not be a national championship contender. So listen, you are fair. It is, if you want to hold the position of, I don't want to expect too much from my team. And you may say, well, I want to be realistic. There's nothing wrong with a realistic 10-2 playoff team. You have 9-3. The fuck is 1 win? There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with calling your team out in the areas that need improvement. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's my position. That's my argument. If you want to go deeper, we got Thursday, 8 p.m. call-in show. Get at me.
Yeah, we're happy to debate. Yeah, 185.7 points, yards per game. Let's look at Ohio State, and this commenter is an Ohio State fan. 284.2. So, it's easy for you to say from where you are, where you have 4 excellent receivers, 2 of them may be some of the best ever, right? Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate are probably going to both go first round. Jeremiah Smith may go first overall, and Tate's going to be up there. And you're saying we're complaining? Like, what are you talking about? Because I remember Ohio State on half of them. I was about to call a number to check on them when they lost to Michigan. Like, you want to talk about a fan base that goes absolutely apeshit over 1 loss. I think Michigan's justified in being a little unhappy with the product that we're seeing.
Yeah. We just want to listen, the coaches, do you think the coaches are happy with that performance? Sharon Moore at halftime said he needed to clean it up, and there was something else I can't remember, but essentially they got to play better. What is wrong with not hoping? What is wrong with expecting your offense to not be ranked in the hundreds? I have a 5-star number 1 quarterback with an offensive coordinator who has coached top 10 offenses.
Right.
I have a running back, unfortunately injured now, but I have a backup running back who is an RB1 who's damn good. So the reality is who has let this program down is the NIL structure previous to this year and the recruiting previous to this year.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the areas that are an issue with this team are due to a lack of horses in the stable. For example, wide receiver room. We all see that. Tight end room. We all see that. Offensive line. It's patchwork, right? Interior defensive line. Another hole, right? The rest of this team's pretty good. Running backs, we are deep. To Dre's comment earlier, somebody's going to be transferring. You're right. Somebody is going to be transferring. I already know one of them who's expected to transfer. Won't say who that is. We have a linebacker room stacked, DB room young, talented. We have quarterback room long-term looks good with Peter Borg. Brady Smeagol got injured. Long story short, we have people in good, and we have players in positions, but we have some areas that we just don't have the horses in.
Well, can we also just keep it a buck here? People talking about Chip Lindsey. Chip Lindsey is not the problem. Chip Lindsey has schemed to the best of his ability. I have liked his mix of screens. We have been begging for running back screens. He put it in, and they've been working pretty well. And wide receiver screens, RPO game, right? He has this mix of the short game with crossers, with trying to mix that in with some of the deeper shots. Obviously, run concepts. I love his run concepts and some of what he does in the run game, with how he blocks, with how he utilizes the O lineman and Bredesen to block in creative ways, like not like just a variety of different schemes. I for the most part am happier with the play calling than I've been in years. I think it's been really good. The issue is that Ron Bellamy needs to go. Ron Bellamy, bye-bye. Ron Bellamy, you need to get on a plane. Because here's the thing. Like when a true freshman who is mostly showing the same talent he showed in his high school film, because we just saw his high school film not that long ago, right? When we were talking about him on the recruiting side. And he has that same talent, that same wow factor. It's everyone else. Like McCauley, like Samaj. How about Samaj Morgan? 3 years as a starter and has just regressed, right? This is what I've seen consistently from Ron Bellamy. And I think it's past time for a call to Lonnie Galloway, a call to even Soup. And you want to keep a younger guy in the mix too, because of recruiting, and maybe the wide receiver coach doesn't necessarily relate the best to the players. But like, if that wide receiver coach, TJ, can show, hey, I've done this at, UNC for Lonnie Galloway and Drake May and his receivers. Look at what we were able to do with the top 10 offense. We can do that here. Like, there is a recruiting pitch you can do, even if you don't relate on kind of a friend level with, or like an older brother level. You can still relate in terms of what you've become. I mean, Nick Saban was as far away from being relatable as like an older brother to the players that you could possibly imagine. But you know what he did? He put his rings on the table and he said, "Any questions?"
Well, and he was a leader of men, and he was a discipline coach, right? He was he ruled. He's a coach with high standards, right, and expectations, and with his winning came credibility, right? And that's what it was. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, look, we'll figure out. Look, the coaching was off season. We'll find out what Sharon does. Sharon doesn't seem afraid to make a change. So we will see when we get there, John.
So let's go to number 4. Who is the answer at punt return? Yet again, Samaj Morgan had a -2 yard game, and it's not the first game he's had negative yardage in terms of the gains that he's made on the return game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Andrew Marsh. Well, and there is a danger to Andrew Marsh.
What's the danger?
The danger is when you have him playing so many snaps at offense and he's kick return, then to add in punt return, you do add more of a risk of injury. So, you could like what about a Jasper Parker? What about someone who's kind of in the depth, but they have great speed? It doesn't necessarily have to be Andrew Marsh, but Samaj clearly isn't working. There has to be someone else on this roster who can return punts.
I would do Andrew Marsh. Fuck it.
Okay.
Push him. He's all right. He's fine. He's young. That's what I would do. I mean, he's who I think is the best option. But up to the coaches, man. I don't know. The coaches are at practice. That's where I will leave it to the coaches for now. I mean for now. I mean, like they know. They know what their options are. Although, I mean, I guess we feel the same way about wide receiver. They know their options, but we're challenging it. But like, I don't know. It's again just one of those things where we just might not have the horses in the stable, which is insane. So now I'm thinking, like, why are we not offering Samson Gash, who runs a 10.5 500 meter, who's committed to Michigan State? But anyways, let's move on.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking a lot of Michigan State players that we should be talking to and try to get them over here.
Definitely Samson effing Gash.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't understand that one either, but we'll move on.
And then the fifth, something that we've kind of noticed off and on is the defensive scheme and the blitzing, and then also where the blitzing is going, right? Which gap, is it the right gap? There's been some issues. In my opinion, I think we've had more success overall when you save blitzes. Obviously blitzing is part of it's part of the game, but when we blitz at a 30% versus a 50%, and you keep the linebackers back, then they're able to cover a lot better. You don't have as many of those crazy holes, and teams like USC won't be able to screen you to death and slant you to death because you're not just bringing them all. And we are seeing again a little bit more on the blitzing. So I'm just wondering, is this something that Wink, because Wink obviously showed he was able to get it together by Ohio State.
Yeah, I think, listen, the less aggressive approach, I think, is best for our defense because we don't have to push up the middle. It allows you to contain, you would hope, and make it harder for the quarterback to find throwing lanes. So that's kind of where we are. It seems to be working. It does seem improved. As long as the boys clean up their tackling, which it does look like they have, and we play disciplined football, this is the approach, I think, for the rest of the year. So, I mean, I think they're on it. We'll give them credit here. I think Wink and Lamar Morgan have made the adjustments. And I think Michigan is at least the defense, I do believe, is trending in the right direction. We just need to get healthy. It's all about health now. Get the boys healthy. Cole Sullivan, Jimmy Rolder, who's up for the Buckus Award. One of like 11 or 12 linebackers who are up for that award. I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, you can't scoff too much at being 17th in the country in opponent points per game. So holding teams to 17.2 average, that's not bad, right? 17th out of 136 teams. So, right. Could be worse, right?
No, it's pretty good,
but the defense, the reason we're hard on the defense is because the defense has to play extremely well when the passing game is the way that it is.
Well, look, the defense is a top 20 defense, dude. It's ranked 18th in the nation, total defense. So it's 17th in points, 18th in total defense. Defense is not the problem. It's not the problem. It's improving too, just like it did last year. It's the coaching and it's the offense right now that's struggling a little bit.
Passing offense specifically, because rushing offense is 12th in the country.
Right. So
that's pretty great.
John, let's look at it. We have an 18th ranked defense. We have a 12th ranked run game, right? Uh-huh. We have a 107th ranked passing game. We see where the flaw is. It's very clear.
Yeah. So hopefully they spend some time in the bye week for Bryce to just work on his touches, work on the touch on the ball, work on accuracy, and like we've been saying almost every week, find the best three. And it does make me happy. It does make me happy that they're starting to do. Samaj had 10, was in for 10 snaps, as opposed to some of the others. They really were trying to try out Browder, try out Channing Goodwin, and even a little bit of Kendrick Bell in there.
See, all right. So here's where I'm going to push back on our fan base a little bit.
Okay.
And again, you are all free to have your opinion on this, okay? But and there seems to be a debate in the chat. You know, some are saying they I won't accept this defense. Because they want a top 5 defense. And then the debate is, well, top 10 is more realistic. Boys, 18th it's okay. Like, that's not anything to be, in my opinion, it's okay. Like, is it elite? It's not elite. But if there is an area where we can give them a little break, I suppose, it's the defense that lost 2 first-round defensive 3 first-round picks. I mean, I know Will Johnson won the second round, but he's balling out in the NFL.
He's balling out.
Thanks, Connor Stallions, for helping all of our fucking NFL players do elite shit like Aiden Hutchinson, Will Johnson, and all the rest.
Yeah.
Just
JJ
kidding.
Goat Carthy.
Stupid rivals. Yeah, you know, so yeah, fuck, John, don't bring that up. That's too soon, bro. My team just lost, bro. Just relax. See the shot he took at Dan Campbell? Did you see
no.
He said kneecaps are still intact. After playing the Lions, yeah, fuck, son of gosh damn it, JJ.
Look,
you want to know
those types of games. It's fun because, like, I am happy. I'm happy with, because I'm not a Lions fan. I'm a fan of a bunch of teams, and I'm a fan of people. I'm a fan of rooting for people and storylines. And so I love seeing JJ ball out. I love seeing Aiden Hutchinson do what he does. Like, it was an enjoyable game for me to watch as somebody who is that way.
Wait, did I say third? I could swear I said Johnson went second round. I don't know. But should have been first round though. But no, but the JJ thing, what's funny is, not gonna lie, dude, like, and this has only happened ever with a team that was not my own. I actually found myself rooting for JJ in that game. Like, there was a play where he could have ran and he didn't. He threw it. It was an incomplete. And like, I'm like, JJ, you got to run it. And I'm like, bro, you're playing against my team though. I'm like rooting for you and playing against my team. JJ is, I don't know what it is, but I mean, I think I do know what it is. I mean, he brought us a national title, so that's probably exactly what it is. But, and he's just a unique individual. But and he is in my division, but I think I will always root for JJ. I can't. But I mean, listen, Lions over Vikings, fuck the Vikings. But I mean, I do want JJ to do well and prove all these whack ass rivals wrong. I just can't. I'm be honest, they're annoying me more and more by the day.
So, anyways, the point is, lots of talent has left the team, and so now it's about, like, shaping up the young talent that Michigan currently has and making the best out of it, getting right as you can get before Ohio State. I will say this. I think Northwestern and Maryland, you can win in a similar fashion. Like, you can pound the rock with Jordan Marshall, with Jasper Parker, with Bryson Kudstall. You can pound the rock and then just throw a little bit, and you can get through Northwestern and Maryland, right? It's about, can we get it together by Ohio State? Because you can survive those other two games on run game and defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, Maryland's ranked 13th in the nation in 13th in the Big Ten in run defense. Yeah. Northwestern is a little better, 10th in the Big Ten, but we should be okay. We should be okay. I mean, and you know, we now listen. Listen. I thought we were going to kill Purdue. Even the Purdue guy who came here thought we were going to kill Purdue. We did not.
I wanted it. I was so excited. I was waiting. I was watching all the other football games. I was just waiting for our game. Man. I'm like, we're going to beat the shit out of this team. And so to have that, like, that's part of the reason I was like on one on Saturday. I'm like, I was like really hype and like ready. And then, but hey, got the win.